Graham, good to see you again. One win away from Wembley. Let's start there. How much are you looking forward to tomorrow night?
Yeah, a lot, because I think it's exciting. I think it's rewarding for the players in the journey so far in this competition. We obviously got to this stage last season and probably put on one of our best performances of that campaign, but unfortunately fell at the final hurdle to the final. But it's another opportunity for us. It's a tough game, as tough as you're going to get in this competition probably. But I think the players are in a good place mentally. I think they're good physically, and we'll go there and play our way.
I was about to ask you that question. What's the best way to approach a game like that tomorrow and the level of opposition?
I think in any game of football, look, there's always going to be little tactical tweaks you might have to make to your general normal game plan. But I think for your best opportunity to create your best performance, you have to practice it over and over and over again and tweak it and improve it. But if you keep chopping and changing week to week from different opposition, then I don't think you're going to get that consistency, that fluidity, the knowledge of your game to be able to improve little things that need improving. So for me, I think we've been reasonably consistent all season in how we approach games, unless we go down 10 men when it had to change a little bit. But I trust my players. I want them to go out and perform to the best of their capabilities and see where it takes us. That would be me as a content coach, looking at his team, going out and playing their game. And
that approach, has that been at the heart of your progression in this competition, certainly in the knockout stages and the level of opposition that you faced?
I believe so, yeah, but even at the start of the competition, because obviously there's different teams, as in from outside the EFL, the under-21s teams, and this general talk, I would say, around the game, how important that competition is. We always take it, every game, seriously. We don't approach any game right in the first game of the group. We're still at it, we're still aggressive, we rotate the team around, and it's how we found our way to the semi-final stage in both seasons, because we take every game as the most important game we've got, because it's the next one and it's a chance for us to play our football, and there's always supporters there. So if we don't play for them at least, then what are we doing now?
In terms of, well, you mentioned Wycombe. I know you're not one to dwell on the past, but can that be a motivating factor of wanting to go one better?
And I don't think a motivating factor. I think it's a learning experience. I think it's good for the players to experience these types of games. The knockout, being so close to a cup final. I think it's my reference point is the more these types of games are played, the more comfortable I felt in them, the more focused I became in what was actually important and what wasn't. So I just think the more the players can experience these types of games, I think they just become, if you're intelligent enough as a player and as in a coaching staff to understand it, I think you get better from those experiences, whether you win or you lose. I think you get something from it. So for me, I don't really, talking about the earlier rounds, I don't see a difference in our team when we go into a game where they're not motivated for any opponent or any round or home or away. I think our group of players are always motivated. That's why I talked so highly about the practice game we had last Wednesday, because if you'd looked at it, if you watched it, it was like, what's on this game? It was so intense and the motivation was there. So for me, we've tried over time to build up that consistency of mindset, that every time we put our boots on, every time we put the kit on, we're there to win. And that goes from day to day to day. And in the end, I believe you create a team that's self-motivating, that never drops that level of inner sort of strength. And it's the players that go out there and take it on, because it's always down to the players to cross the white line.
What do you make to Birmingham as opposition then? Obviously a lot of money has got into that squad, as we well know.
Yeah, but look, I've been at a couple of clubs where there's good budgets and stuff like that. It doesn't make you hopefully, if you get the recruitment right, you bring in better quality of players and stuff like that. But if you don't do a lot of the other things right, then it means nothing. So there's plenty of examples of clubs all over the country that have spent a lot of money that are not being successful. So I don't see it that way. I see it as a good club, probably at a level that they, similar to us, they don't aspire to stay at, and they have backed it with investment and everything like that. But if they're winning games, it's because they're doing a lot of good things as coaches, as players, and approaching the games in the way you have to win a game of football. So I'm looking forward to it. I know my players are looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a full house, which is brilliant. I think so. A lot of our maybe younger players won't have played in too many fixtures of this magnitude, as in the size of the opponent, the club, the crowd. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we compete.
To be reflective for a moment, more generally, and you mentioned that the sellout crowd. It's a great atmosphere expected, and it should be a great evening, come what may, regardless of the result, for the fans that are going, because it's a great occasion. The club are third in the league at the moment. Do you feel like you're bringing good times back to Bradford City? It's certainly the feeling amongst the fan base by some. Well,
there's a feeling there, undoubted. But we haven't achieved anything yet. So look, we're one of our aspirations when we first came in was to get a feel-good factor around the club, and certainly at Valley Parade, which I think we have. Everyone has managed to achieve on that side of it, but it's still results that are the real achievement we want to get to. But we believe that having the fan base believing and hopeful would help us do our jobs better as well. So every credit to every player that stepped on that pitch in the last 10 or 11 months. Some not here now, but they've all played their part in trying to create a momentum and a belief in everybody, and every fan that's walked through the door. We thank them for their backing as well, because it takes a leap of faith sometimes, because it hasn't always gone our way. And I believe that's what we've tried to do. I think the players have shown, win, lose or draw, an effort to win, a commitment to the badge, a commitment to the colours, and I think that's what supporters in the end buy into. And I think they've helped us sort of go and compete and play our game, knowing that the supporters are backing that. So, but achievement-wise, we haven't done anything. We haven't. We have to keep our foot to the floor. We have to be humble and have humility in our work, which, like I say, I referenced the game last Wednesday. It was just no ego on that training pitch. Everyone was working hard, same as today. And that's what we have to maintain. And it's sometimes difficult with the sway of results. You can sometimes get ahead of yourself, or you can sometimes become too despondent. So we've always tried to keep a balance, and I think we have really good characters in that changing room that help us achieve that. But I think I'm sure all the coaches at Birmingham don't think it's done dusted about their league position and so forth. I think you have to keep your foot to the floor and keep your head down, keep working hard.
Team selection wise, going into tomorrow, 5 players cup tied for the ones that came in January. Aside from those, how are you going into tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously we're I think with Kieran and Lewis missing, we're 7 players down on what our squad would be, and so I think we're down to the minimum numbers for the squad. But we'll pick the team. We'll make a few changes that we believe will help us compete at the best level and maintain the health of the squad, because that's what we've been constantly trying to do, because we have to. We haven't got a choice. And so apart from that, everyone who played on Saturday got through the game okay, with no after effects. So we'll go down there. We'll do our stuff. But we've got the minimum we need. And ultimately, that's all you do need.
And Jack's red card on Saturday doesn't impede him at all for tomorrow night, does it?
No, that's right. He obviously in different competitions, so he'll be available to be selected tomorrow as well.
Will the club be appealing that red card?
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. Look, we had issues that we thought we should speak to people about, but I don't believe the red card was one of them. To be honest, I thought it was one that could go either way. on the way the game was going, I thought it would be a red. But I can see how it could go both ways. So I don't believe so. I spoke to Ryan yesterday and we didn't see any real legs in it, to be honest.
Have you had much conversation at all with the officials or PJ?
I just went and spoke to the referee after the 30 minutes. I spoke to him politely. We had a 5-minute chat and that was it. I don't see the point. I want to focus on what's important going forward. We'll do the report for the assessor to look at, but it's not our focus to try and improve people without our sort of control. So, but I thought it was right for me to give him my opinion in the right way, privately, and it was a conversation between two adults, and I'll leave it there. I just want to focus on what's in front of us, and we've got a massive game tomorrow. We've got players that are really ready to play and ready to compete at the best level. That's where my full focus is on right now.
Just very quickly, I want to ask you about Richie, if I may, purely because we spoke to him today prior to yourself, and 40 appearances in all competitions at 34 years of age. I mean, it's some going and doing it consistently as well. Just what of his season and how valuable he's been to what you're doing consistently throughout this season?
I think 40 appearances is what I'd expect from Richie at this stage of the season, to be honest. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. Maybe in modern football a little bit it gets overblown a little bit, but it's what I expect from somebody who looks after himself properly, who trains every single day, who never shirks a challenge, never pulls away from anything. He's always there, ready to go. That's why he gets picked all the time, because that's what we needed to become as a team. And I felt, when coming in here 12 months ago or so, or 14 months, whatever it was, I felt he was the one that epitomised what we wanted the team to become in so many terms. So as long as Richie keeps doing the things that he does, then he knows that he's got our back in that, and certainly my trust and Chris's trust. We worked with him many years ago before he was a young player, but we didn't get that much game time from him. That was through choice, but this time it's great to be able to work with somebody like that who we know will help the team, help the players around him. He will understand our messages and how we want to work and take that forward. And but there's plenty more games in the tank. So the age thing, I think is irrelevant, to be honest. And I fought that fight many moons ago when I was a player. I think it's there's a lot of 22-year-olds out there that ain't as fit as Richie. So it's nothing to do with age. It's how you look after yourself. It's how you train, eat, sleep, discipline, all those sort of things. And I believe Richie ticks a lot of those boxes. I
wanted to ask you that. Do you see parallels in him and how his career is unfolding to that of yours?
I don't know. No. I think he's played at probably a better level earlier than I did, to be honest. But I think I don't think he's blessed with speed, similar to me. I don't think he's an ultra powerful guy, similar to me. I think he plays with his head and understands the tactical side and decision making on the pitch, and I do see that parallel a little bit. And he's out there every day, win, rain or shine, training, trying to win. And I like those types of players, and it does sort of remind me potentially of myself and Chris and other really good players that I loved playing with, and I always thought they were ready to help the team win, and that's what I believe Richie has. So, but there's different things. He's been a midfielder all his life where I wasn't, but I'll keep him in midfield for now, and maybe the trying him in different positions maybe comes later in his career. But no, I think he does a great job for the team, and not just on the technical side and playing side, but also on the personality side, and he's someone that the rest of the teammates trust, and that's a big thing for us.
And finally, I asked him this question. I'll ask you it as well. What would it mean as manager of Bradford City to take them to Wembley?
I don't know how to answer that, because I think when we set out at the start of the competition, we want to win it. That's it. So, but if we are fortunate enough and do the right things tomorrow and we manage to win the game, I wouldn't be somebody to over-celebrate getting to the final. I think I did that in my younger career as a player. and then when you get to the final and don't win, the semi-final means nothing, to be honest. So, that's just from my experience of that sort of scenario. So, managing this club every day is special to me, and managing these group of players every day is special to me. But look, I know how important this stage is to everybody. But there's two teams that are feeling the exact same thing. So, I think it's going to be a good game between two really good teams. Obviously, one at a different level to the other. But I think we've shown already in 2 years that we can compete against anybody in this competition.
Best of luck, Graham. Thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned young players who may not have had this experience before. Presumably part of your role as a coach is to look at the players and see if maybe they're nervous or maybe they're overexcited by it and talk to them or pick the players that are more level-headed.
I think we've got a group of players where I can pick any of them. I don't look at any of them now thinking, he will get overawed or he'll be too excited or anything like that. And if I feel that before, I'll still pick him because I still feel he's a good player. And I think these players have to go through these challenges to then get that experience, because we want them to have better careers going forward. But unless you prepare them for that by playing them in these types of games, then they're not going to get that preparation. So, this is a big game for us, but I believe and I hope that we'll have bigger games towards the end of the season or this season. So we have to pick the team that we feel can go out there off what we know of them as players. But then if I have to speak to a player before the game or even during the game or get one of the senior players to talk to another individual, which I did on Saturday going into that game, I pulled Sars and Richie to speak to one of the younger lads just about when we get into the game, and that's where you use the whole strength of the squad to look after any individual. And sometimes it is a kick up the arse, sometimes it's an arm around the shoulder, but it's how good teams work, and it's not just down to me as the manager to help any individual.
From your experience, is there a difference, footballing wise, a major difference between League One and League Two, or is it just still a game of football?
Well, it's always a game of football. I think every cup competition, certainly in England, always proves that that on the day results can happen. But there is a difference, without a doubt. Not all the way through the division, because even in any set division, there's differences in that. So there'll be maybe 2 or 3 leagues in League One, if you know what I mean, if you get my drift. So that's there's always that level. It depends, who you're playing from League One, the team at the top or the team at the bottom. But regardless of who we're going to play against, we're not going to say, well, we only need to play at 7 out of 10 today, or actually we need to play 9 out of 10, or we have to get to 12 out of 10. It's not. We just try to play to our maximum, whoever we play against. I think that's the only thing you can try to do. And if you do that, I believe it gives you the best chance. If we try to reach a game that is incapable of us, then I think we're going to weaken what we've already built up. And we never let our standards drop, I don't believe, against anyone who outside might see as inferior to us. That's I think the thing I've learnt about this group of players over time, that I think the message have gone through and they've took that on board and they keep those standards high. So, but listen, you're talking about a team that spent £10 million on one striker, so there is a difference in those sort of terms. But everyone's human, everyone has good games and bad games, and everyone makes mistakes. So we have to go there and do our best to play whichever team they put out.
Cheers, good luck.
Okay, mate.
So going back, sort of trying to play your normal game, trying to keep it as a game as it is each week. Obviously, you're going to walk out, there's going to be 29,000 there, it's going to be pretty hostile initially. There's going to be fireworks going off, there's Wembley at the end of it. How do you sort of keep that level basis that this, just go out and play as you do last week, as you did the week before?
Just by your behaviours, I think. You can't behave a different way and then talk to them and say, right, it's just a normal game. So our behaviours from Saturday to tomorrow have been the same as they were last week when we played Accrington on Tuesday. From league game to league game, we've prepared the same today. We'll prepare the same tomorrow. For me, I don't think the 26,000 will overawe the players. We play in front of 18,000, 19,000 sometimes. So I think the players are well versed in that sort of. It's maybe pressure that's slightly different, because when we play at Valley Parade, it's 17,000, 18,000 expecting us to win. I don't think that'll be the case tomorrow. With the best win in the world, I think it'll be 2,000 or whatever we're taking that will expect us to win. And but I don't know. I just want the players to go there and understand if they make a mistake, it's the same mistake they would have made in front of 1,500. It's not any bigger if they win a throw and the crowd go mental. It's still a throw-in. It's not a goal, and just break it down to actually the reality of the situation and the reality of the action that's took place, and understand that it's not going to go perfect, but no game does. But I feel our players have learnt how to react to certain scenarios, just like Saturday, when 10 men after 17 minutes, and the performance after that was unbelievable. As in discipline and all the things that I spoke about after the game on Saturday. So I think the players know how I approach games, how I approach training. I want it done properly. Same tomorrow, there's no difference in messaging from me or Chris or Trui or Doyler. And like I say, we've got senior players in there that have probably played these games. And I think last season was a reference point to us. Like I said, I thought it was one of our best performances as a team at the semi-final stage. And there was probably more expectancy on us at that. No disrespect to Wycombe, but I think us being at home, that was it. And I thought we handled that really well. Bar for one mistake and the lack of focus at the end that cost us the game. I thought the performance from the players that night showed that they were capable and ready to play at a level, or in a level of a game that probably has, I don't know, potentially more significance.
And obviously the fact that, as you say, this time, you're very much seen in the underdog role.
Yeah.
I mean, do you sort of enjoy that in a sense that, because there is this wide expectation that Birmingham, well, their home record, I mean, they're unbeaten at home in the league.
Yeah.
No League One teams won there this season.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going there, and most people will say, yeah, Birmingham expected to win that. I mean, is that sort of part of adding to the attraction of the occasion a little bit for yourself? That the fact that it's sort of a chance for, right, let's go and show them?
Not show them, show ourselves. I think for me, I'll look at my players and I want them to go and show everybody what a good player they are and what a good team they are. So I don't want any individual going out, right, I'm going to show this is my showcase, this is this. It's like, what's my team need from me right now, this minute, this second? And that's what I want to see. I want to see that level of focus and composure that we show week in, week out. And you can go from different challenge to different level against different opponents and still maintain your standards and your thought processes and have that discipline. And I think that's what the players have produced over the last 10 or 11 months especially. But look, it's a big game, there's no getting away from it. But as we sort of try to sort of reframe the player's mind about playing at Valley Parade, when we talk to them, and I've said this many times, when we speak to them about coming to join Bradford or I came to Bradford, it's like, yeah, you get a chance to manage or play in front of 18,000, then you can't go there and shrivel up. You've got to actually go, yeah, well, this is what I'm here for. You can't moan about it, this is what you came for. And I think tomorrow is an occasion or a game where, well, this is where we wanted to get to at this stage. We wanted to get to the semi-final, and knowing that we're going to have to play against big clubs. And we've already done that this season and last season, away from home in League One, and we've shown what a good team we are. And tomorrow for me is no different, but there's no getting away. It's a really tough venue, it's a really tough team we're playing against, but I want it to be tough for them as well, and I think we have the players to be able to do that.
I think you sort of alluded to there, I was going to say, this time last year when you went to Wrexham, which again, I think they were unbeaten at home for almost a couple of years, wasn't it? So as you say, there's players out there who've gone to these occasions and got the result they've deserved. Yeah,
and then we went to Derby and changed the team, 7 changes, and beat them as well, and they're now in the Championship. So there's history enough there for us to use as reference points to know that we can go and beat a team if we stick to what we do well. And it's no guarantee, never is, but I think it's the best opportunity for us to do it. So I don't believe the players, I think there'll be times where they probably have to take a deep breath. You know what I mean? Because we might be under a bit of pressure a couple of times, but we were under pressure on Saturday with 10 men, and we managed to keep our composure and see through those periods and actually be the better team. Then we have to take that into tomorrow's game. But I believe it's one that the players are excited about. I think it's one the supporters are definitely excited about as well. So let's go there and give it our best shot.
as you say, this competition, you've made changes all through the whole
Yes.
thing. And the fact that you've got to this stage, in a way, that must be quite satisfying. The fact that a lot of players have been involved in getting you this far, and the fact that obviously some can't play because they've played it elsewhere already. Those lads, perhaps who aren't playing regularly at the moment, become part of the picture very much. You know, at the biggest point of the competition.
100%. It's what we. I talked about. It would be the squad that gets us any success right at the start of pre-season. Whatever that squad was going to be at this stage, because obviously we've been through 2 windows, but I think we've, in the game since January the 1st, I think we've had 21 starts, or 21 different players starting, and we've picked up some brilliant wins all the way, you know what I mean, really good results, but that's been shared between 21 players starting those games. I believe in this group of players, but it can't just be words. So the player, what I like, especially when we're talking about today, is coaching stuff, that these clean sheets that we've been keeping and being really hard to beat. The back three's been changing
different players
semi-regularly, and to keep everyone fit, available, and they've still picked up the baton and just done what it's needed, the team tactically, to be able to continue that run. And that's every credit to the players that are not out there, because they're not all Richie Smallwood who's out there every single week. Some players come in and play a couple of games and then drop out, and someone else comes in. To be able to maintain that sort of level of performance with not playing every single 3 days is every testament to how they train and how they mentally prepare themselves for a game. So, and from now to the end of the season, it's going to take all those 21 players again to keep winning if we can.
You mentioned Richie there. Obviously, you have rotated and brought players in and out, but Richie's sort of the one constant. I mean, have you ever sort of thought perhaps he needs a bit of a rest, or will you always think, I want him in that team?
I don't believe he needs a rest. I think he's the type of player that thrives on being out there all the time, and I think that's why he trains like that, because that's how he is. And I think he's a bit of an old school animal, which you like. And I think the team needs him. That's why I think I don't believe we have other really good midfield players, but I don't think we have another Richie Smallwood. And I think I didn't start him against Stockport, did I? I think
no. That's the one he didn't.
That's the one
he did start Newcastle right at the begining.
That's right.
I think he started
So I didn't start him against Stockport game away, and we won that. But I just believe that there's got to be some consistency in our team, and Richie's proven, not just this season, but season after season after season, that he can go 40 games, 45 games, 50 games, and that gives me I'm content in when I put him out there again, that he's used to it, his body's used to it, his mind is used to it, and he's our captain, so I want him to be out on that pitch.